Yes, it's completely true. You go inside my private life, but I will tell you.
Yes.
Today's guest is Audrey Bogini, a former physicist and an engineer who worked at the European Space Launch Center, but has given up science in favor of her true passion, horse riding. Audrey has set up and has been running for nearly 20 years her own company offering horse riding tours in Tusheti, a remote and magical mountain region in northeast Georgia.
I discovered for the first time Tusheti. I was like, oh, like
Audrey became a mother for the first time at the age of 44 and is now working to set up a pony club for kids. We talk about Audrey's incredible journey of living her life's true calling.
Welcome to the Remé Show. I'm so excited to have you as my first guest, Audrey
Thank you very much.
Bogini. Super cool. We are chatting in my house, in this living room, the first studio for the Remé Show. And you know, I wanted to begin from the beginning, how I got to know you. And it was some years ago when we met at a party. And I was so impressed by what you are doing. And if you remember, immediately I was like, I want to make a documentary. I want to make a documentary about you.
I can remember.
Because I think what you do is really, really impressive.
You too.
Thank you. So, because we're just beginning this, you have a business, horse riding business in Tusheti. What is Tusheti for you?
Wow, this is a big first question. Tusheti is like something apart for me. I'm well traveled, so I'm well traveled because my mother was stewardess. So I travel a lot in my childhood with my mother. And I worked in French Guiana, so I worked in many places. And I took gap years, so many times I was traveling around. And the first time I discovered Tusheti, it was in 2003. I was with a friend of mine, a German a friend called Stefan. And the main goal of this trip was to cross mountain chains hiking, also with map and just hiking. And we came to Georgia in, I think, if I remember good, in May 2003 to cross the Caucasus chain. And then we went down and I was looking for horses to cross the rest of the Caucasus range. And little by little I have learned that the shepherds were on their way to go up to the summer pastures with the sheep, the flock of sheep. So we met them and I have asked if by chance there were some horses to be sold. And the one answered me, you will not have the chance to, it will be very difficult to find horses, good horses, and if we try to buy, you might buy some bad horses. But if you want, come with us. So we were at that time in Pshaveli, close to Alvani. This is at the foot of the Caucasus Mountains, just at the beginning of this famous pathway leading to Tusheti, the only access to Tusheti. And it was in May, and we went with them, with all the flock of sheep. It was like quite amazing adventure because of the people, because of the great nature, of the simplicity of the people. And I like very much the fact that the people had nothing at that time, but could give you everything without any expectation in return. So it was kind of very simple, and the people were like a kind of symbiosis with the nature, and you were part of them. Completely
Was it
part.
just the shepherds or also people that you met in the villages, the locals?
It was shepherd. It was semi-nomadic Tush people. So we went up to this pass, which Abano Pass, which lies at almost 3,000 meters high. And we went on to Tusheti. And when I discovered for the first time Tusheti, I was like, oh, like I don't know how to express myself in English, but it was a kind of
How would you express it in French?
new breath.
Uh-huh.
You know, like I thought that I was reborn. I don't know how to say, and it was the first time I had these feelings with in all the countries I have visited. I never turned back, but this place I was in my head, just straight away telling to me, I will come back. I will do something here. Because it's kind of part of the world, like a jewel, like very preserved. And at that time, it was like incredible, very simple, no electricity, nothing. But all the thing you can find, it was in the humanity and in the nature. It was very genuine, very incredible.
There's something magical about that part of Georgia, something mystical as well. I think what impressed me the most was that it was one of the few places that I visited where there was no light pollution. So when it's dark and you see the stars. How are you communicating to these shepherds? What languages did you speak? How did you communicate?
At that time, I used to speak a bit Russian. I'm still speaking a little bit, but I forgot a lot. But yes, I was speaking Russian.
Because I read somewhere that you actually lived with the shepherds for several years.
The family I met at that time, I just met again and again, and we were together for a long period. So I spent, yes, many years with this family. And this family, the father, so called Spiridon, he died, unfortunately.
When?
He's 7 years ago.
Oh, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He was a semi-nomadic, so a shepherd. So he was spending all the summer from May to approximately the beginning of October in the Tusheti, and during the winter he was in Vashlovani in the winter pasture. So after the Soviet Union, because during the Soviet Union they were going to Dagestan in the winter time, the shepherds. So, which is magical also with this Tusheti. This is a kind of, jail. You are in a jail because it's closed all over the winter, but you feel this freedom you have never felt outside Tusheti. So, it's a kind of paradox. You are free on the horse or on the foot, and then at the same time,
you are very contained to one
very
place.
Contained, yeah.
So you spent the winter in Tusheti?
No, unfortunately.
No.
I wish I could.
You never spent winter in Tusheti?
Yeah.
Because what I heard is that there's one road that leads to Tusheti, and when we have friends or guests visiting, we always say it's among the top 10 most dangerous roads in the world, driving that road. And of course it gets closed for winter months because there's so much snow, you can't pass it by car. But some people actually do live in Tusheti in the wintertime, right? Maybe a few families?
There are still some between 20 and 30% living in all the year. There is also helicopter. This is because once a month, because there are military there, because we are close to the Russian border, so there is also a military camp in Omaro, and they changed the teams. So
and maybe bring supplies.
And also, yes.
So this family, Spiridon, did they sort of adopt you? They welcomed you? Because what I heard is that Tush people, they're quite kind of close-knit community. There are not that many of them, and they have their own kind of rules and traditions, and maybe they're not so open to outsiders to welcome them. Is that true?
Yes, it's completely true. You go inside my private life, but I will tell you.
Yes.
So
we need some juicy stuff.
Okay, now. So I get married with the Tush. So it was like
what? Just like that, you fell in love?
Yes, with with Gia. And we were married from 2007 up to 2013. So, and we plan I offer him to try to found a company like horse riding and hiking, both. We are doing both, actually.
Before we go further, I wanted actually to go a little bit back because you are a physicist by training.
Yes.
Can you tell me more about that? Because you had a successful career as a physicist and presumably you studied a lot. So before you made this decision to make this U-turn in your life, can you tell me more about that part of your life?
Yes. So I studied fluid mechanics.
What is that? Fluid mechanics?
Fluid mechanics is everything which is flowing. So it can be gas, it can be liquid, it can be also solid. The sand is also fluid. Traffic jam, this is also fluids. You know, you have many applications. So from the beginning, I wanted to be a pilot, but I'm colorblind. So I was like, what I'm gonna do? And I had the big chance also to go to French Guiana, working on the space launch. I get the job by Arianespace. Arianespace, this is the company which is managing all the launch of the European space rocket. So I was working on the Ariane 4 during 3 years. So yes, I had. It was fantastic.
Wow, you were like in your 20s, so very successful for that time, yeah, in your profession to be doing that.
Yeah, it was a very nice opportunity, but at the end, maybe I'm mad. I don't know, but in the end, I was not feeling free enough, and the freedom was a bit and. Okay, it's magical to launch launcher, to rocket, anything. But the thing is, it's very protocol. You have a lot of protocol, and it's okay. You are at the top of the engineering, whatever what you can do, but you can say. But the thing is, a launch mission is always with protocol, always and
following step by step all the rules.
Exactly. Yeah. So for me. It's a bit lack of creativity, and I really wanted to be free and to create my own things and to be free. And this is my first idea in my life. So, okay, I quit and to travel. I didn't know at that time what I'm gonna do, but this is what happened.
So all that kind of scientific world was a bit restrictive to you?
For me, it was like. To be in the corridor for the rest of my life. For sure, I would have a big career and everything, but it was on the corridor, and for me, it's not enough.
How was it like that moment, you know, when you made a decision? Because I assume it was quite a big decision for you to quit your scientific career and move on, kind of continue discovery in your life.
I grew up with a beautiful mother who encouraged me always to do everything I wanted. I mean, in the good way. Just it was my first experience as engineer, so I tried it. But slowly, I felt that it's not my world. Also, to have this big hierarchy. Always, I mean, it's not for me. I knew it slowly and little by little. And it's not only hierarchy, it's also this protocol, the lack of freedom, the lack of creativity. And I didn't know at that time what would be good for me, but I have the sense of, okay, that I don't want this. And yeah, as you said, I was young, and for me, everything was possible. I mean, I had nothing, no link to anybody, no children, nothing. So it was easy, and for me, I don't care if I can. I don't need like a flat. Until my 40s, I didn't have a proper house, my proper house. So I could live anywhere. I don't need a lot. I just need to be free and to enjoy my life every day. This is much more what I was thinking, and still I'm thinking now. And I follow this path slowly, learning all the time what could be good for me. And at the same time, I don't know, maybe other person will feel differently, but I have always this need to learn also, to learn new things. Not only scientists, but also part of history, languages, and to see, to experience myself. I grew up with horses. I love horses. I grew up also in the mountains. I love mountains. So this is also like some parameters which come inside this big pot, and slowly, you have the essence, which
that is trickling down.
Exactly.
Yes.
But the one I can say is that it's not easy. I mean, taking the decision takes time. But then, once you took the decision, it's not an easy path. You have what you want, maybe the freedom, or I don't know what you are looking for, but you have to pay for that. And the freedom is not easy. You
have to work for it.
You have to work for it. And every day it reminds you, okay, you are free, but now you have this one also. So it's always a balance. What do you want? It depends on what you want in your life. If you prefer security and stay comfortable in your house, don't do, I would say. But if you like to enjoy, to discover, if you are not afraid to lose something, go for that, because you will experience plenty. I mean, 200%. You will feel emotionally. You will be deep in your emotions. You will be, if you like living with high emotions, go for that.
You said that you grew up with horses. Can you tell me more about this?
I was in the jumping in the event in France, in the team, national team of the junior, and then I was at the same time in a farm, very easy, and we were cleaning the farm, taking care of some animals, and in exchange we could ride the pony Shetland. So it was the best part, I think. All was good, but it was very, very nice.
How old were you when you first sat on a horse?
I think I was like 12 or 13, 12, I guess. Yes, 12 years old.
And it was immediate kind of connection with the...
Yeah,
yes?
It was very, yes. With the horses, yes.
So now we're going forward again to a Caucasus expedition when you founded this company in offering horse riding tours in Tusheti. So you were already familiar with horse riding, quite a confident horse rider. But what did you have to do to kind of grow your company, and what is it that you wanted to offer to people?
So when we founded the company, we were one of the first, offering this kind of tour. It was still very unknown from the Westerners. So the first exhibition I attended in France, it was amazing because the reaction was 80% Georgia, America. No, there is a small country up there.
In the Caucasus?
Caucasus. So it was very unknown, and so there were very, very few tourists at that time again. So we started very slowly. We eat potatoes during 3 years.
Why?
Because no money.
There was no money, no other food.
No, we had no money. We invest each certain amount of money, starting buying the 4-wheel drive, buying material. We did a lot of by ourselves because there was nothing. And I also organized all the itineraries we offered by myself. So we hike first because each itinerary I am building. So I first go on foot, and because you need many things. It's very long. It takes a long time to create
an itinerary, a route where you can take your tourists.
Yeah, because it should be interesting for the ethnography, history, cultural traditions, landscapes, and more difficulties with horses because you have to find a camp with the grass and water.
How long would it take? Are you used to take you to create, let's say, like a tour?
I would say, for me, I need to go 3 times, like 3 years to build something like which makes
3
sense.
years?
Yeah, but it depends. I have to find the itinerary in the mountains first, then I have to find local horses which are in a good shape.
You can ride them safely?
Yes, first, and also which are not injured. This is a problem also in this kind of places. So it takes time. It takes time.
But going back to that period when you were first beginning, when you were eating potatoes for 3 years, did you have to invest into horses, or did you already have some horses from Gia's family?
Yes, we actually started with the Gia's family's horses, and then slowly, Gia's father was getting old and couldn't continue with the sheep, so we took over the horses. And they are the horses. They are now
Still?
Still, yes, same horses.
So how long do horses live for?
No, I mean the same branch of horses.
The same. I see. I'm like, really?
Yeah, but one, my oldest horses was 33.
Ah, wow.
But normally it's like between 25, 30, yes.
They live up to 30 years, yeah.
They can.
Longer than dogs, but still kind of not long enough because you get attached and they become your friends. So today, I mean, the beginning of your company and your relationship with Gia ended at some point, and then you started. You were continuing on your own, and that's what you're doing now, right? So you are running your business on your own at the moment.
Yes, I developed this new itinerary in Azerbaijan and Kabardino-Balkaria, and also I'm starting to develop because now I am a mother from.
We'll talk to that. Yeah, mother.
Sorry. Okay.
No. We can talk about this. Motherhood. Yes.
So I continue. Yes, on my own. It's a very nice, a small group. It's maximum 8 riders. On foot, I can take still, but customized to also a group of people, and I customize all the itinerary according to the wishes and according to the competencies of the people. And on the horse riding tour, I'm working with European agencies, and but still it remains small group. And I'm very, I like to lead them, because this is also very nice time to share with people the authenticity of the Tusheti, to show them also all this mystic part of Tusheti, the syncretism, because they're still pagan, they have still pagan beliefs. And to show them this special place, how it was before.
They have these rocks that they pile onto each other, but then they say that women cannot approach these sites, right?
Yes, that's right, because they are like they are altars for their god, so protective gods or nature gods or for the weather of gods. So they have some altars and they honor their gods once a year during the summer. And this is the sacred place. So nowadays, still the women are not allowed to approach this sacred place.
So it's very kind of old-fashioned in that sense, yes?
Yes.
And in general, the Tush culture, is it quite kind of old-fashioned and conservative?
Very, still very. I mean, the young generation is getting a bit more like relaxed, but yes, when I knew Tusheti was still the woman has to get married virgin, and then they move from the parents' house to the husband's house, and many things. If you get your period, you cannot go in that place and in that place, and yes, many things. A woman is not allowed to smoke in Tusheti because it's not good behavior, a lot of like this, yes, very patriarchal.
Yes, so how is it in this very kind of patriarchal and male-dominated culture, Tush culture, you have your business and you are a woman. You are, you're a very well-built woman, but you're, petite woman who is running a company, horse riding business. How has this experience been for you? Taking into consideration that there are limits to what women can do in Tush culture.
It was hard. It was not easy. I fight it. I'm still fighting, because you have many things. You have this, because I am a woman, so no one will hear me, will listen to me if I am telling you maybe you should not ride your horse like that. It was like, what this foreign woman will teach me something. Nah. And so I was like, and also there is a thing that the woman, the oldest they are, the more power they have in the Tusheti. So I was young, so no power. I was not a mother, because the mother also have another respect, from the people. They get another respect. So, and I was foreigners. And even if I get married with a Tush and I was in the family and in the shepherd world, and it took years so that I was...
To gain that trust.
Yes, years. We built also a house with Gia in Tusheti with our hands.
Wow.
So yes, but it is all this process, and still now, I mean, I gain in respect, still being there after all these years. But it's still it's not easy. Tusheti is not easy. Tusheti, I would say, it's very attractive. You will be appealed by this region. First, if you are going on your way, it will ask you a big effort to reach Tusheti. Once you reach Tusheti, it will ask you to be like, you will be amazed, you will enjoy. But if you go over this period, beyond this period, you will have to be tough and resistant. It's quite hard.
Because even they're not accepted, yeah?
Yes, and also even me, I have not the same blood. Still 20 years, but I have not the same blood. And
so you still don't feel, even though you spent 20 years, you were married to Tush, but you still feel that there is a bit of kind of distance, yeah? Not full acceptance?
Depends. I have very good friends. I'm very feeling comfortable with them, and no problem. I can go at their home. I have no problem. But we have enemy everywhere, because of the, you have always like jealousies and how to say, envie.
Envy, because you are running successful business.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't care, but it's still hard to be in to live in this kind of environment. So, I mean, you have always, it's small villages, small community. So if you just put a foot like a bit
further,
it can be like like a lot of gossips and so even if I'm 20 years there and I'm still there, because I love this place, and I never have this feeling anywhere in the world. Yes, it's still
a work in progress.
Yes,
it's still work in progress.
Yeah, I would say that. And you never, but it's all in the life. You never gain something for good. You have always changes. It's always changing. So,
talking about changes, I wanted to ask you about motherhood. You became a mother 2 years ago. 2 years or more?
Yes,
more.
2 years.
Two beautiful Teona. How was that experience for you? Here you are, independent woman with your horse riding business in the Caucasus, and then boom, you're a mother.
Yes. So this is a boom. Yes, exactly. Exactly, the big boom.
Yeah.
It was not easy. I wanted, so I didn't want any child for a long time. So I get pregnant at 44. I'm 47 almost, 2 months. So I did want Teona, for sure, but it was very difficult at the beginning for me. because it's, I mean, you are
Changes
not,
your life.
yeah, it changes your life, and the freedom is gone for sure. So I'm not like a settled person. I'm kind of nomadic person. I love moving all the time, and I had a base camp, but I was always moving. Winter, summer, always. From April to end of October, before I didn't spend like more than 3 days in one place. Always moving, and it's just after a baby, then you cannot.
You have to stay
you have
home.
to stay.
Yes.
So it was, yes, I would say the first months it was beautiful. I was enjoying. Between 1 and 2 years, it was kind of a difficult year for me. Just because of me, not because of my daughter, because she's going everywhere. She's very easy baby. I would say no problem. She's eating everything. She's not ill, and so healthy and everything. But for me, it was a bit hard, feeling a bit alone. I never felt this loneliness.
Because you're a single mom.
I'm single mom, yeah. But I never felt this loneliness, and I love to be alone in the mountains. I'm going alone with my backpack for days. I love it, but I was feeling alone with my own daughter. I was, wow, and I will quite try to analyze this strange feeling.
To adjust yourself, your system to. I think it's quite a big shock for like working women. I remember I got my first child when I was 32. And before that, I was, running, doing my journalism, of course, free to go, to report, free to like fly off and do this story, that story. And that was the biggest, of course, shock. The biggest shock was first, you come to realize that you are no longer the most important person in your life. There is somebody else who is more important. And the second, it really affects, of course, your freedom, for the first 5 years, because you have to.
As that I don't know. I'm still 2.5.
2.5. 2.5 to go. 2.5 to go. But what an amazing event in your life to become a mother. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And that's maybe I wanted to talk maybe about this project, which I'm trying to set up with for Teona also. This is this pony club in Georgia. So we'll try. I'm not alone in this story. Because now I need partners, because I cannot do everything alone. No, now I stop a bit. But with some partners, we try to set up like this pony club. So
where it will be? The pony club. Where do you want to set it up? In the mountains or?
No, close to Tbilisi, and to work with the school and the children, and so to offer a kind of small branch and
to teach children how to ride.
Yes, exactly. No, also a bit
for your daughter first, and then through your daughter to other kids.
Yes, to other kids, but also academic. Yes, you need a basis, but also all what is going with horses together along, and so it will be much more a place. I would like to make a live place with children and taking care of the pony, and my horses will be there also in winter. So this is the main target. And if I can, after I would like to work with disabled kids, so autism. So this is the second part. First, I have to set up this, but this I really would like at least a bit to work with.
When do you want to launch this pony business? This year? This year, or maybe?
It just now it depends on the bank and everything, because now they are studying this business plan.
You have to buy ponies and bring them to Georgia.
Yes.
Where are you going to buy them from?
In Turkey, I think. If it's gonna work, because in this story there is one Georgian person and 2 Turk, and we're gonna buy Shetland and Turkey pony in Turkey. Yes.
So fingers crossed the business plan will be accepted by the bank,
Yes.
and you can get the credit. But it's amazing how, you know, this is also maybe, do you think if you, like, because you became a mother, this idea came to you because you want to give something to your daughter, and through that you're kind of bringing new area, you know, in your business. Do you think it's the motherhood that made you think about this? Or?
The Pony Club had the idea long time ago,
Okay.
very long time ago. But that the project come true, yes.
Because you want your daughter to kind of continue on your steps.
She will do what she wants. I mean, if she like, good. But no, I think there are so many things to do in the life. So if she likes, she can do also with me. If she doesn't like, she will do other things. She will find.
Look, I want to ask you many more questions, but I think we'll have to wrap up. So when I started researching about you, and somehow on Instagram, I start getting this, you know, like some sponsored feeds, and it shows these girls doing like crazy stuff on horses. You can do pretty crazy stuff. Can you ride it like standing up, or what is the craziest thing that you can do? I've seen some photographs where you're doing like acrobatics on top of the horse, but what is the craziest thing you can do? Like,
no, but I have very, very nice horses. I think the most difficult part is to break a horse. Depends on
breaking horses when you have to tame it and like make it listen to the rider. Yeah.
The first time you will sit on a horse, I don't know, maybe it's not to break a horse. Breaking in. Breaking in.
Thank you,
yes.
Robin, our Englishman here.
Breaking a horse sounds a bit mean.
Breaking a horse! No, breaking in is when you, usually with the young horses, yeah? You do it.
Yes, from free you can start. And then, then I'm just
Have you done it?
Breaking
Yourself?
in?
Yes.
Yes, I did in the past, but now, no, it's some of them are very easy, and sometimes you have a very difficult one. I would say it's much more, I have more easy horses to break in than difficult horses. But if I have a difficult horses, I will ask a young friend of mine to
do that.
Yeah, I don't want anymore. But the craziest things,
I mean, I've seen some pictures. You're like
maybe before, yes,
crouching and
yes.
you know, doing all sorts of acrobatics.
Yeah, I feel
what
like
a
home.
fantastic feeling! Like it must be, you know, to be such a confident rider, to be able to do that. I mean, so the jockey here, the black cat that blends into my black trousers, is telling me what? Finish talking. But. You know, I really hope we'll get an opportunity to talk more, because I actually wanted to ask you more things about your tours, about the kind of people that come, because I want those who are listening to this show to get inspired and come and experience this amazing, you know, horse riding with Audrey Bogini.
Thank you, Ryan.
High five. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And if you have any questions for Audrey, please leave them in the comments section. In the next episode of the Rema Show, you'll meet a legendary American lady who set up the first private hotel in Tbilisi, the Georgian capital, in the 1990s. Betsy Haskell will share her incredible story. Stay tuned.